Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode here on Warriors Amongst Men, Spirit Amongst Flesh, Needs over Wants, Thriving over Surviving, the awake amongst the sleep, the lions amongst the sheep. As always, my name is Sam and I'm here to help you liberate from your flesh, define your purpose and live the life that you came here to live. And that whole start to the video is like a spell, right? I'm giving you some good potions right there to help you remember who you are and what's important in life. And remember, words are bonds, so I'm very careful with the words that I choose. And I've been saying that intro for a long time, before my videos were deleted by the satanic network. You know, I've been saying this sort of mantra every single video, over 350 videos I had on my YouTube and including my Patreon. And this mantra was actually aligning me to becoming who I was going to become and to become the fearless warrior that I am right now in Thailand. I've been through a lot of crazy things, but here I am to tell the story. And well, like they say, without the darkness, you wouldn't see the stars. And look, I'm out in Thailand. There's people on their mopeds going past and all sorts of things happening. So you have to excuse the noise. I'm just being real with you. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about fake shamans and real shamanism. Many people don't know what shamanism is, and I know the world is just coming into an understanding of truth and spirituality and the world around us once again. For a long time, we've been told a version of what spirituality is with religions. It's like this book, yeah, that the religions have, you know, the Bible or the Quran or whatever it is, that's got to become your mind. And if anyone asks you any questions, don't think about it for yourself, just use the book and that's it. Right, but now people are realizing that there's way more to life, and you know, if you're a conscious person, you understand that there is a life force underpinning everything, and there's a spirit everywhere. There's a spirits in the animals, there's spirits in the trees, there's a spirit within you, right? And we're learning more about the spirit world, and obviously we're learning more about our own shadows and how we're creating our reality. And right now the whole world is going through a great awakening. Like, we're being called to look into ourselves and understand who we are on a deeper level. So when I say fake shamans, I'm not here to excuse the noise. Look, when I say fake shamans, I'm not here to shit on anyone. I know that there's many people that are just trying their best, and you know, my hat is off to you. I appreciate you. Keep going, right? You're one of the real ones, if anything. But like everything in this world, like I always say, everything's backwards. Doctors destroy health, schools destroy education, religion destroys spirituality, governments destroy freedom, lawyers destroy justice. Right, the world is corrupt, we know that, but the most hijacked thing of all is spirituality. It is shamanism, you know, because especially, you know, in the Amazon rainforest, there's many shamans in Peru. You know, you've got people dealing with ayahuasca, real shamans, but also there's a lot of fake practices set up that they just want your money, and there's a lot of fake shamans. So in order to find a real shaman, you have to follow your calling, right? Not just see an advertisement somewhere and be like, right, that's for me. Right, maybe it is, but you got to really have your wits about you these days, because there's a lot of fake shamans out there that are just doing it for money or status or their ego and stuff like that. And maybe one day they will become a real shaman, and they are yet to be initiated properly. But I've actually met many fake shamans along my journey also, and I want to just give you a quick story so that you can see what I'm really talking about. So I don't want to go into too much depth in case this person is watching and I don't want to, you know, say any names, but one of the experiences I had with what I would say is a fake shaman is, right, they asked me to come in to do some journeying practice, right, and they wanted to, you know, they had all the qualifications. There was, I don't know, 50 qualifications on different things, on Reiki, all these things on the wall, you know, and So they thought, look, I'm a shaman. I've got the qualifications. You know, but remember, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. He's not going to go, shit, you done that course? You got that qualification, have you? All right, sweet. You're a shaman. No, real shamanism is you're going to be called to be a shaman, and every single, day or event that happens in your life is going to be an initiation process. You know, you might think you're having a breakdown, but actually that breakdown is a breakthrough, and it's really bringing you into an understanding of who you came here to be. So I went into this person's room. They had it all set up with the crystals and the incense and everything. The music was all the spiritual stuff. So, they must be a shaman. Look, all this stuff's going on. Anyway, before I laid down, I was just standing face to face with this person, and they said, right, so they had a piece of paper with a script, right, of this meditation they wanted me to do. And they said, right, so what you're going to do is you're going to lay down, and then you're going to imagine that you're on a beach somewhere, and then you're going to get up, and it's going to be a beautiful beach, right? You're going to see a cave, you're going to go over to the cave, you're going to go into the cave, and you're going to meet your spirit guide. Then the spirit guide is going to give you a message, and then you're going to come back to where you were, and you're going to wake up, and there you go, you've got a message from your spirit guide, right? It's a journeying practice, that's what they call it. We're going journeying. I was like, all right, sounds good, sweet, can't wait to meet my spirit guide. Anyway, I laid down, and what happened was that they tucked me in, so I was all nice and toasty and warm. I was like, close my eyes, and all of a sudden they just started banging this drum, full pelt, so loud, and I was just like shocked, and I was like, right, so are you going to guide me through this? Like in my mind, I was just thinking, are you guiding me through this, or am I just supposed to do this on my own, or like? And I was laying there for like 20 minutes, and this person was just banging the drum. Eventually, they'd slow down and be like, all right, he's not done yet. And just start banging the drum again. I was like, oh my God. This, I'm not taking the piss, but this is not what shamanism is it? Like, the whole point in being a shamanism is you're supposed to be a guide for someone. You're supposed to guide them, right? And so this is why you have to be initiated to become a shaman through real life experience, because, because you've been through things, now you can help other people go through the experiences, and, like me standing here, I'm not trying to say that I'm almighty and I've been through all these experiences so I can help you through anything. But I have been through a lot of experiences that have built me into becoming a warrior, right? And I still have my own challenges, yeah? I've still got things that I've got to work on, like when it comes to shadow work and overcoming our own internal demons. I always say you cannot destroy your demons, you can only rise above them, right? Like I said, I'm not here to take the piss, because I know some people are really just trying their best. But there are obviously fake shamans, and there is a network of people, from what I've seen, like the Satanists, what I speak about, that are trying to suppress this knowledge, and they do not want people to understand their power. They don't want you to know who you are, because you are a self-reliant being. Like, when you have a connection to the spirit world around you and you understand yourself as a spiritual being, you understand that, like, if you want something, if you need something, everything is actually within you. And this is something that I never really understood until very recently. Like, if you want to have more protection and feel more safe, you can do spiritual practices to protect your aura, like to strengthen your aura. And there are many different practices you can do for anything like this. You just have to stimulate certain parts. But how do you become a real shaman? How do you find out the real knowledge? You have to follow your calling, right? You have to understand that if you want answers, right, I know a lot of people, they go to shamans in the first place because they want answers. If you want answers about your life and to receive downloads, you have to be willing to open the door, right? And I don't just mean facing your fears in real life, that's a big part of it. You've got to be willing to actually walk the path of a shaman. You've got to do that. And what I'm talking about is opening your consciousness. You've got to actually open the door of your consciousness, right? Which you can do, and this is why people, they seek plant medicine, and through psychedelics. The actual word psychedelic comes from an older word that they used to be called entheogens, which means connecting with the divine within. But even the psychedelic movement has been hijacked, and I'm going to do a whole video on that, so let me know if you want to see that in the comment section. But this is why people seek plant medicines like ayahuasca and mushrooms and stuff, because obviously when you do it, it opens your consciousness up, and you're just flooded with information. You might not even be able to sleep at night because you'll be getting all this information still coming through. But you can do the same thing without plant medicine through Kundalini yoga and practices like that. And this is what shamans are all about, right? It's really about being a guide for others. So I want to talk to you a little bit about why I feel like I'm being called to be a shaman, and I don't even like calling it that these days because it's just been so hijacked. There's so many people walking around with shaman tattooed on their forehead, and this is great in a way because it's like people are tired of the old ways and the old religions and things. People just want to really just be out there and be authentic and just be whoever they want to be, and I think that's great. So I'm not gonna put people down like that. Like, do whatever you want as long as you don't cause harm to anyone. But like for me recently, I actually found out a lot about myself through plant medicine, and I done a mushroom experience recently where I was actually at the beach, and I was laying there, and I was just so tired because I've been doing a lot of working out lately and training a lot. So when I took the mushrooms, my body just like collapsed, and it just showed me what was going on beyond the conscious mind. Because obviously, consciously, you can get up and you can go out and do these things. But when you do plant medicine or psychedelics or even Kundalini yoga, and you activate yourself, it's really going to bring to the surface everything that's in the subconscious. So obviously I've been working out a lot, so it just made me so tired. And I was laying there like this, and I looked up, and there were about 8 tourists taking pictures of me. Why is everyone taking pictures of me? I thought, why are you taking pictures of me? I was on mushrooms, so I was just like having all these downloads and stuff, laying there, and then there was loads of tourists taking pictures of me. And I looked up, and there was a massive monitor lizard right next to me. And all that I was thinking was, I remember stories of when I've heard yogis and stuff in the past talk about how they had some Kundalini activation, yoga, enlightenment experience or something, and they opened their eyes and there was like a snake next to them or some sort of animal, because animals are connected to or drawn to this sort of spiritual energy. And the reason why I also think that is because, once, I mean, I looked at him, the monitor lizard, he was looking at me. Obviously, I startled him and he sort of walked off afterwards. But I went back the next week to do a second plant medicine experience in the same location. I was about 50 meters down the beach. I was laying there again, and I had exactly the same experience. I looked up and there was loads of tourists taking pictures of me, and then I turned around and there was this monitor lizard. And so I think that's a big sign, is when you see animals drawn to you, now you're in the right energy because you're having a connection with the spirits around you. And that's what, yeah, plant medicine is about. But this is what shamanism is really about, is having a connection to the spirit world. And ever since I went on this journey and I found my calling and I started just facing my fears, once I ended up in Bali and I was doing a ceremony with a high priest there, and Bali is a very special place because there's a lot of volcanic energy underneath the land there, and it's actually one of the few places that is based on top of one of the energetic grids of the earth. So it's got a real spiritual energy when you're there. There's a big spiritual community there. There's a lot of black magic going on, and people doing spells on each other and all sorts, so you got to be really careful. But anyway, I was doing this ceremony with this high priest, and we were sitting there meditating in this forest, and he was doing these chants and these mantras, and I could hear the whole forest started to wake up and was listening to the shaman, and everything started to get louder in the forest. It was incredible. But a lot of these arts and these connections that, has been lost over the time. And many of us in the Western world, we've actually got this Western mind. It's like a mind that has been given to us rather than natural mind, where anything is possible, and we're dealing in the world of imagination, and we're dealing with the fairy realms and the natural spirits of the earth. And we all know this world exists. Like, listen to this show called, if you go on Spotify and type in The Emerald, it's something that a friend of mine sent to me recently, and it goes through animism, and it's all about how, we have animated everything. We know that spirits exist. That's why there are cartoons of like animals that speak. It's really interesting to me learning about the spirit animals and this concept, because a lot of people think, oh, what a boring thing, just spirits of animals, what do we actually get out of that? Well, I'll tell you how to actually connect with the animals, and then you find out for yourself. On your phone, put your screensaver as an animal that you have a connection with. Like, I have a jaguar on my phone, and I have an eagle, and the eagle helps me to see the higher perspective of my life, like the importance of right now, given the birth and death of my life. Like, it makes today more significant, and now I'm starting to see the eagle everywhere, and it's actually guiding me. Like, the other day, I done a road trip from where I am in Krabi. I went down all the way to Koh Lanta on my bike. It's like 2 hours or so on my bike. Got on this boat. My phone wasn't even charged. I just had a calling. I needed to go. And I just went, and I was a little bit scared. There were so many times where I felt like turning back, but I just went for it. I kept going, and got all the way there, and I was a little bit scared. I was a little bit lost. There were signs saying, you have to wear a helmet, otherwise you'll get fined and stuff. And I didn't have my helmet on, and I went all that way. And, I went the wrong way a couple of times when I got there, but I saw the eagle in the sky, and I followed. And it was just as I was arriving at this place, I saw the eagle, and I got off my bike and I went out on this pier just to like stand and look at the ocean. And I ended up meeting some people there, and they were just friendly people, and they helped guide me in that moment. It was almost like the eagle was saying, you're at the right place, by seeing it in that moment. And these people took me to where I was supposed to be in Koh Lanta. They took me, because I was lost. I didn't really know how to get there when I arrived, because there's sort of two islands and there's a bridge. I was stuck on the first island when I had to go over this bridge. Anyway, and I also have a strong connection with the jaguar. The jaguar is epic. And someone once said to me, when I first went for a spiritual awakening, I was just in my hometown, and this guy came up to me, and the first thing he said to me was, did you know you used to be a jaguar in a past life? And obviously I'd just gone for an awakening. I was like, what the hell? And I didn't think anything of it, but recently, the last 6 months or so, I've had the jaguar as my wallpaper on my phone, along with the eagle. And the jaguar has really, I've become an embodiment of the jaguar in the last 6 months, and I didn't realize this so much until I actually looked up the spiritual meaning of the jaguar, and it was saying how the jaguar knows what he wants and he goes after it, and the jaguar's fun to hang out with, but and if you actually look up the spiritual meaning of the animal that you have a connection with, you might realize that you have these traits also. And this is exactly what I mean. Like, even if you feel like maybe you don't have these traits, you can program your own subconscious mind by putting it on your phone. So every single day you're seeing that picture, or maybe put it on your wall around you, or maybe you already do. Maybe you have a tattoo of something, of a lion or something. Look up the spiritual meaning of this and start to make a connection with this animal, and you'll see that it will become stronger and stronger, and you'll start to be guided by these spirits, right? You'll start to have a connection with them. But the reason why I felt like I was becoming a shaman more recently as well, like why I've had this awakening, is because, you know, I was doing these ceremonies recently, and the information that was coming through for me is that I am a center point coach, right? Why? Because why am I supposed to help people find their centers? Like, why was I getting that download come through? Because, you know, when I'm with other people on psychedelics, I'm always the one that ends up like helping someone through some experience. Maybe they're so scared or something's happening, they're going through something, their traumas are coming up or something. I'm always the one that has to be like, right, Sam, snap out of my own stuff for a sec and help this person. You know, I'm always the one that will say, right, just breathe and you're safe. Right, be present with yourself. Don't worry about what other people are doing over there. Just be focused on what you're doing. But I'm always the one that ends up having to do that. Why do I attract this experience? You know, and this is what I mean by what real shamanism is. Like, it's just something that you are. It's not something that you have to go and get a qualification for, you know. And you'll know if you are a shaman because all of your experiences up to this point, you know, you will have had many experiences up to this point that will be in alignment with what shamanism is. That it will all be around dealing with the currents of energy. Maybe you're into meditation and you're into yoga practices because you realize that everything you need is within you. You just need to stimulate certain parts, right? You know, I must also say is like, I didn't want to become a shaman. Like, I still don't want to do it, but I sort of know that it's just who I am, and you know, it's just the experiences that come to me. So, and it's just how I naturally deal with those experiences, like a shaman, you know. And this is why, like, if you feel the calling to become a shaman, yeah, you should start working on yourself to become, you know, a better person, you know, and deal with your subconscious mind, your traumas that come up. You should be, you know, doing your shadow work and stuff. I know many people think that they've done all their shadow work, but, you know, this is an ongoing process because shamanism is really about being present. And that's what spirituality is all about, is being present with the experience that you're having now. And the only way to be present with your experience is to listen to your intuition and follow that path, you know, follow your calling. Because otherwise you're going to be somewhere in a life that you don't really want to be living, and you've really built that life out of fear because you just want to be safe. Whereas if you get out of that comfort zone and you start actually living, then you're going to be qualified by God, right? Because all your fears are going to come up. No, none of your fears and none of your shadow work is going to come to the surface. None of your traumas are going to come to the surface for you to deal with them if you're just in your comfort zone, right? So if you want to understand who you are, more about yourself, get out your comfort zone and start facing your fears. Start, you know, realizing that, you know, things breaking away in your life, if it's you following your calling and opening yourself up to new experiences, then yeah, things might fall away, but you're opening yourself to new experiences. And this is a beautiful process of life, because everything, there's a birth and a death to everything, right? And this is exactly what spirituality is all about, my friends. And it's about learning to trust your intuition and trust yourself, because that's what the Spirit of God is, right? God exists within us and in all things, I would say. And if you look at numerology, the number 0, it's like the snake eating its tail, meaning that everything comes back to you. It always comes back around in full circle, right? Karma goes full circle. Everything operates in circles. There's cycles and circles in everything. Look at the seasons, you know. This is why I call myself a center point coach now, because it's all about returning back to your center. Sometimes we get lost in the world and we think, why are things not going my way? And we get scared about things. And, you know, I'm the same, right? I've still got my own challenges, but I have just become more empowered through facing my fears and following my heart in this process, right? Because it's not been easy, you know, and I've had many times where I've had a broken heart and I've gone through many challenges, like I know you have too. But you must keep going and remember your center, right? Return to your center. Stop doubting yourself. You have the power to change anything, even when the dogs are going crazy over there. The spirit of the dogs are with us right now, are they? What is the spiritual meaning of the dogs? Let me know in the comment section below what you think. So remember who you are, remember why you came here, and remember the power lies within you, right? Face your fears and follow your heart. And also, if you want to work with me one-to-one, I'm now doing an unlimited mentorship where you can speak to me one-to-one, my phone number, and speak to me all month. So if you want to work with me, I really appreciate your continued love and support. And until next time, peace and love, my friends.